Assalamu alaikum everyone. Once again, it's Celine. So I would like to discuss, I want to talk about why I strongly believe, and not only that, I feel like this is absolute proof in the Quran that Allah put his book divinely together. He revealed his book in book form, and it was not put together by sahabah or by Muhammad. Nobody put the things in order. This based off this evidence that I have found in the Quran, the book was already put in order by Allah. Okay, so the first thing, and the thing about it is, the reason I'm tackling this subject is because one of the things that a lot of hadith sayers say is that the Sahaba put it together. And, they were given different revelation. Once the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah send peace and blessings upon him, was given the Quran, he was given it verbally. And they were writing it down for him, and they were, organizing it. I think after his death, they organized it and put it in book form. So one of their arguments, the hadith followers, one of their arguments is that the book is was put together by human hands, and so are the hadiths, and they believe like the same people, or like the same lineage or whatever. I don't know. They put the hadiths together too, so they believe, okay, if they were able to put together the Quran and keep it intact, and remember it and all this stuff, then they are also able to put together the hadiths. And I want to dispel this myth just based on what I have found in the Quran. And to me, this is pure guidance from Allah, and that's why I'm tackling it. It's something that I feel like he wants me to tackle, and he wants me to bring to light, because when we think about it, like, this book is divine. Its order is divine. So for anybody to put it in order, I mean, if you have watched some of the videos, like on any, like the miracles of the Quran, you'll see like that the structure of it is in no way could have been put together by man and putting it in order and stuff like that, and this ayat here and this ayat there. So there's no way that man could have touched this book and made it into what they wanted it to be. Now, I believe strongly that Allah revealed this book, in my personal opinion, based on the research that I have found, reading just the Quran and what he says in here. I believe that he brought down the book in book form to, probably through, he brought it down, he revealed it to the Prophet Muhammad through the angel Gabriel, or Jibril, peace and blessings be upon the Prophet. Okay, so anyways, may Allah send peace and blessings upon him. But he sent it down in book form. And when he sent it down in book form, verses were revealed in that book, or that scroll. It was revealed on that scroll probably in different places at different times, until it was in completion. And once it was in completion, it was completely written down. Everything was already in order. Everything was already set. And so I'm going to explain to you guys my reasons for, the proof that I have from the Quran. Now, you could take it and do whatever you want with it. Ask Allah for guidance. I always tell people, don't take what I'm saying for face value. I'm a human being. So I have flaws. And so anybody who is a human can have flaws or whatever. But the thing about it is that Allah has no flaws. He's perfect, and he can guide you to the truth. So if anything that I'm saying is unclear to you, or you are, you're having a hard time understanding it, make sure that you ask Allah for guidance and for clarity on this, because it's something that I definitely did. I did ask for clarity. Okay, so my first indication that the book was already in book form, okay, when it was brought down, it was in a physical book. Great, I lost my page when I moved that thing. That's okay, I'll be able to find it. Okay, so the first surah that I want to talk about is the Qur'an, and Alaq. I think that's the name of it. Okay, so let me go back. That's where I lost my page, of course. Why wouldn't I have lost the page? Okay. Let me see. And I lost the page. Well, the first ayah in Surah Al-Alaq. Okay. Yeah, Alaq. Okay. Surah Al-Alaq. It says, in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, read in the name of your Lord who created. He created man from a clot. Read, and your Lord is most honorable, who taught to write with the pen, taught man what he knew not. Nay, man is most surely inordinate, because he sees himself free from want. So from the first 3 ayahs, okay, from ayat 1 and ayat 3, it is clear that the Prophet Muhammad was to read something. He wasn't told to recite. He was told to read. Iqra. He was told Iqra. That meant to read. Okay, so when you read something, that means that you have something that is written down. Okay, and you have to read it. So whatever was shown to him, he was told to read it. He was ordered at that moment, and this was the first, according to that this was the first, in the history and everything. This was the first ayat that was revealed. Read in the name of your Lord. And he was told to read. So when you read something, that means that, you could read a book, you could read a magazine, you could read your newspaper, you can read a, I don't know, you could read your website. Okay, you could read it on a website, you could read on read on a TV screen, you could read. Okay, you have to physically have something to read. And so that right there is an indication that the book was already brought down in book form, and that because he was told to read something. Now, he was not told to recite. He wasn't told to recite. Okay, so he was told to read, so he had to physically look at something. Now, Allah does talk about reciting in the Quran. He does talk about reciting the verses, reciting his verses, which we're supposed to be doing. But I'm trying to tell y'all that it wasn't something that was verbally given to him. Okay, and we all know this. We know the story of how the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he was in the cave, and then here comes the angel Gabriel or Jibril, and he comes and he tells him to read. Okay, so this was the first indication that that this book was already in place. Now, when I read, I already knew from there, but I was like, okay, we need a little bit more evidence, because people are still using this argument that this book was put together by human hands. And I feel in my heart that Allah never would have allowed humans, He never would have allowed us to put our hands in his book, in his the way that he organized it. I just feel like he is so far above that. He would have never allowed people to put it in order. So it just does not make sense to me. He is the Lord of the worlds. He has a clear-cut message that he wants to get out. The other books have been tampered with by human hands, and it just wouldn't make sense. It never made sense to me when they would say that the sahabah, they collected it together, they named the surahs. I've even heard it go to that extent where they were told that they named the surahs. Now, I do not believe that at all. Okay, so the next ayat that I would like to discuss, it comes from the surah, the mountain, Tur. Okay, surah Tur. And I'm trying to read these Roman numerals so I can tell you guys the number. Okay, but I think it's 52 maybe. I think it's 52, guys. Okay, so it says, I swear, I think it's L2. I'll have to look these up for you guys, but I'm so sorry. I will try to put them in the description box. Okay, so I swear, so it says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I swear by the mountain. So Allah is swearing by the mountain. And the book written in an outstretched fine parchment. Okay, he is saying right here in this surah, in these first 3 ayat. Okay, I know you guys can't, can you see it? Okay, so he is saying, I swear by the mountain, and he's swearing by the book that is written. So he's swearing by this book. It's already written. He's writing the book as it's coming along, as it's being revealed. He was writing the book in an outstretched fine parchment. So when I first came across this ayah, because I've read this before, but it never really clicked until recently. When I read that, I said, whoa, that's crazy. He had it written on a scroll, because I went and looked up what is an outstretched fine parchment. An outstretched fine parchment is a type of scroll. It's animal skin or paper, really fine paper that is meshed down, and it is like formed into paper form. So back then they didn't have books like we have books, okay, like this binded and all of that. That came around later in history in like, I think like the 17 or 1800s. That's when book binding actually became a thing. And there might have been in it might even been earlier, but I don't think during that time they had book binding. So what they used were scrolls. They would pound this animal skin to a very, very thin layer, and then they would be able to write on it. So Allah is saying, in an outstretched fine parchment. So parchment paper, you probably have heard of parchment paper. So it was scrolled out, stretched out, okay? He's saying it's outstretched. So it's probably huge. It's probably long, okay? Number one. Number two, it's probably super long because he's saying it's outstretched. And these are a lot of words that would have had to be put on there. So Allah is saying, I swear by the mountain and the book written in an outstretched fine parchment. He's talking about this book, guys. He's talking about the Qur'an. All right. He's talking about this. He had it written down. Now, another indication that this book was already written by Allah and that human hands did not touch it. Not even just that, just based on, and I lost it. Just based on what was I going to say? Okay, so just based on, things that he has put in here, human hands could not have done this. This is amazing. The surahs are perfectly placed. The ayahs are perfectly placed. Everything is placed perfectly. And so there's no way that human hands would have touched it. I do not believe that. So all of those myths and misconceptions about, and the stories, I think that they're only stories, that they're not true. And that I think that it's one of the tricks in order to get us to believe that this book could be flawed. Because if you think about it, that's one of the first arguments that they say, that the hadith makers say, hadith followers say. They say that this book is it was organized by the sahabah, and that's why they're so great and all this stuff. But the thing about it is that the next thing that crosses our mind, okay, if sahaba touched it and put it in order, there could be flaws. And I know that this crosses all of our minds. I know that it does. I know. No matter how hard you try to believe that, it still will cross your mind that these guys could have flawed it, okay? And if it's more than one person organizing the Quran, it could have all kinds of different things. But Allah promised to protect this book. He promised to protect it. And like I said before, as we know with the other books that were brought down, they were tampered by man. So with that being said, I just strongly believe that this book, it was revealed the way it was revealed by Allah in a book written form. Okay, when it was revealed. So the next ayah that I'm going to read, it is ayah, it's surah 24, which is Nur, the Nur, al-Nur, which is the light. This is the Quran. It's very good surah. It talks about Allah goes in more depth on, on who he is. And it's a really, really excellent surah. So it says the first ayat, guys, the first ayat. And it's interesting because a lot of these ayats come at the beginning of these surahs. So that's pretty interesting. I'm trying to still figure out the correlation. Allah knows best, but maybe he really wanted us to understand, like, this is my book. It's in place, and maybe that's why he placed those there. And it could have a lot deeper meaning. I don't know, but this is what I'm recognizing, what I'm observing as I am going through the Quran. It also says this is ayat Surah 24, ayat 1. Okay, it says this is a surah which we have sent down and made, that within it obligatory and revealed therein verses of clear evidence that you might remember. So if we look at this, he's telling us he sent down a full surah. So he sent down this full surah, and that's a kind of a longer surah, and he sent it all down intact. Okay, he's telling this chapter, because if you translate surah over, it's a chapter. We know a surah. They're the chapters of the Quran. So he is saying sections of the Quran, specific sections named. Okay, so he's saying this is a surah which we have sent down. So he sent down a full thing. So a lot of the arguments will be that certain ayats were placed at different times, and the surahs weren't revealed at all one time. There's a lot of different things. So this is letting me know here that he brought down a full surah at one time. And then there is another ayah, and I'm going to keep, this is probably something I'm going to keep on going, but I just wanted to bring to light these verses so that we could gain a, you know, could start looking at it and looking into it for yourself. But I think there may be more, and I'm going to keep continuing looking and researching, and if I come across anything else, I will definitely include those as well. So it says here, this is Surah 25, ayat number 4. It says, and those who disbelieve say, this is not except a falsehood he invented, and another people assisted him in it. So they say this Quran is not except a falsehood, and he invented it, and another people assisted him in it. So they're even saying, you know, Allah is saying here, but they have committed an injustice and a lie. Allah is saying that nobody had a hand in this book. He's saying that right now, that they're saying that this whole thing that is being revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah send peace and blessings upon him, is, they would say that it is falsehood and that other people helped him in it. So Allah is letting us know it is a lie. Nobody helped him in it. It was being revealed to him in the form that Allah, and he didn't even help himself. He didn't even, the thing about it is too, these are not even the Prophet Muhammad's words. These are not his words. These are not his words. These are Allah's words. Allah was revealing them through him, giving him understanding, giving him, you know, telling him to tell the people. But these are not the Prophet Muhammad's words. So nobody helped him in anything. The only thing he did was he was just like, I have to relay the message. That's it. And now that he's gone, now that he has passed away, and Allah tells us, what would you do? Would you turn back on your heels? Once the Prophet dies, will you turn back on your heels? And the thing about it is that now that he has passed, he's already entered the hereafter. The thing, we're only left with this. We're left with this book, and it's backwards. Okay, so we're only left with the Quran. So we need to take this book seriously, let go of everything else. This book has so many treasures in it. We don't have time to really look at anything else, because I feel like there's so many things that we have to understand within this book, you know. Foremost, this is the most important book of all. So all of those other things, that those other hadith books, they're unnecessary. They're not what we need to be focused on. We have to get focused on the Quran. And if we're not getting focused on the Quran, we're losing huge, because this right here is the divine revelation. And I hope that this was of some guidance. So, you know, just to recap, Allah says that he told the Prophet, it was revealed to the Prophet, the first ayahs were, read in the name of your Lord. He had to read something. Allah says that he swears by the book that is written in an outstretched fine parchment. So it was a book. He's already saying it was a book written down on stretched paper. He is also telling us that that it is a lie if anybody had put, anybody who, the disbelievers, they will say that he had assistance in this book. And that is a lie. Allah confirms it is a lie. And then he had revealed a full surah at one time, meaning that this whole thing was written out, a full surah, everything intact. Probably the name of the surah, when he says the surah, this chapter has, which we have sent down and made it, and made that within it obligatory, and revealed therein verses of clear evidence that you might remember. So these were verses that were revealed, they were clear, and it was in a full surah form. So I hope that this was of some guidance. And like I said, as I continue to research more, if I find anything else, any more evidence, which I may not. I mean, this may be it. I don't know, but I'm going to continue to research. I will continue to find, and as Allah continues to guide me, I will, you know, share with you my findings. But I hope that this was of some guidance. Please like, share, and comment below. Would love to hear what you're thinking. Make sure that you always ask Allah for guidance. Do not take what I'm saying for face value, but always ask Allah for guidance for yourself. He is the one that guides, and I am just following his guidance and doing the best that I can with what I know. All right, guys, you have a great day. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.